I was reading a book over the weekend and I had this thought when I was finished. Did I just read the best book that I've ever read? Now, I read books all the time. It is one of my favorite things. I love fiction, nonfiction. Give me a biography. I'd love to read about a person, memoirs. But I would say that science fiction is not necessarily my go-to genre. I read mostly rom-coms like Catherine Center. Catherine Center is definitely my favorite author of all time. And I love other romantic books that are also a little bit of literary fiction like Emily Henry. And I can definitely be swept away in any Kristen Hanna book. Her historical fiction is just amazing. I'm pretty sure I've actually experienced the Dust Bowl because of the Four Winds. And I feel like I was a nurse in Vietnam because of the book The Women. But when it comes to the question, what are my favorite books of all time? It really makes me think, what are the criteria for being my favorite books of all time? Is it because I've read it over and over again? I've read John Grisham by Skipping Christmas. Skipping Christmas by John Grisham probably 20 times. But is it my favorite book of all time? I don't think so. But then there are books like Ella Enchanted, this one by Gail Carson Levine, and I've read this book probably 20 times too, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. While this book is so fun and just a really good way to get me in the spirit of Christmas, and I have a happy memory from this book, which makes it one of my favorite books, there's just something about this one that makes it my favorite book of all time. And I don't know what it is, but I have loved this book since I was in the 6th grade. Even as an adult, I still love this story. And it's the way she writes. It's just so beautiful. The story is so fun. There's just something about this. Next, I want to tell you about Harry Potter. I remember very well when my mother handed me this Harry Potter book in the car, in the Walmart parking lot. I just remember being so into this book and telling her all about it. And then my dad and I went to see the first movie together in 7th grade. And there's just so much magic to this. So all of the Harry Potter books, this whole series, definitely favorite books of all time. But then I read a book that is not my typical genre, and it was Unbroken by Laura Hildenbrand. And this has held the spot of absolutely the best book I've ever read for about 10 years now. And the story is incredible. Couldn't wait to find out what happened next. True story about this guy. It will remain one of the best books I've ever read of all time. However, like I said, over the weekend, I read a book, and the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking, is this the best book I've ever read? And it was contingent upon one factor, and that was, how is this book going to end? And I don't want to spoil the ending, although Catherine Center says it's not a spoiler, it's just something to look forward to. But I'm not going to spoil it for you because it would be heartbroken if someone had told me what had happened at the end of this book before I actually got there. But let me just say that not all authors can end a book well. I've read full books that I thought, this is incredible, and then the ending just fell short for me. If it's a fictional book and the ending is sad, I think, why did you write this? You could have made this good. Life is sad. Let's make the books we read happy endings. That's why I'm reading this book, to be happy. So I wasn't really sure how this book was going to end. Totally surprised me. I would never have seen this coming, and I'm so thankful that it ended the way it did. And then maybe this is what makes a book the best book I've ever read. I've been thinking about it ever since, and that was a week ago. So I just cannot get this book out of my mind. And this book is Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. So I cannot believe how much I loved this book. He does such a good job of explaining it to the lay person like me, but at the same time, someone who does understand this could read it with a whole different appreciation for the science and math that's in it. So it was never over my head as far as the science and math goes, which is pretty impressive to write a book that I can understand that is pretty high level stuff, I think. The story is told in first person present tense, which I love because you are learning what's happening along with the narrator of the story. That is such a fun way to read a book. And then the stuff from the past is all told in first person past tense, and you're finding out things that are happening in the past that then help him with what's happening right now or getting ready to help him in the next chapter. Such a cool way to write this story. So that made this such a unique reading experience, and the story itself was so fun. There are not that many characters in here, and yet I just felt so connected to the characters, wanting what was best for them, and then it did. It was the best. It was so good. So this now takes the place of the best book I've ever read. And of course, this book might just be second place, or they're just equal. They're just different, two different genres, but wow. The thing is, now the movie's coming out. I cannot wait. That comes out in March. I'm so excited. When I saw the trailer for this, I didn't really understand what it was. I didn't understand what was going on, but Ryan Gosling's in it. So, you have to go see it. He's in such good movies, all kinds of genres. Again, like, I love reading all genres. He's in all genres of movies. His acting in the newest Blade Runner movie, I think it's Blade Runner 2041. I can never remember the numbers. But his acting in that was so good. Of course, I've loved his other movies. I mean, the Barbie movie, he's hilarious as Ken. And then also that new movie that came out where he's the Fall Guy. I think it is called Fall Guy. He's such a good actor. So I'm excited to see this movie because he's in it. But now that I've read the book and then I went back and watched the trailers, I understand what all the stuff is that are in the trailers, and I cannot wait to go see it. Now, I want to say too, my 6th grade son read this book. I put a few notes in the margins for him, and there was one page where I said, maybe just skip this page. It's not even that bad. It's just not appropriate for a 6th grader to read. However, if he had read it, it would have been fine. There was maybe one time that he uses a curse word because most of the time he's just like, well, gosh, golly, which is kind of funny. But there was one time he uses kind of an extreme curse word. But even then I was thinking I probably would have said the same thing if I was in that situation. So anyway, it was appropriate for him. He read it in a day, maybe 2. And now my husband's reading it. We're all going to go see the movie together. We are so excited. I have a new favorite book of all time. I can't stop thinking about it. I love the characters. There's one character in particular that I love so much, and I wish he was real. But I have a dog. I have a dog that can take the place of that character. I'm not even going to say his name. You just need to go read the book. Nobody told me this book was amazing. Now everyone I'm talking to says, yeah, it's amazing. How come nobody told me this? Although I do believe that the right book will find you at the right time sometimes. This was just when I was supposed to read this book, and I'm so glad I did. Okay. That's it. Happy reading. Go read this.